Hey guys, what's up? This is Ivo once again, and I wanna welcome everyone back for the sixth. Actually, I'm just gonna, the sixth, which is the final installment in Rocky series. And today I'm gonna talk and give my retrospective review on Rocky Balboa. It ain't over till it's over. Came out on December 13, 2006 in the US in movie theater, and in my opinion this is the best sequel that we got. This movie ended the Rocky series, in my opinion. Rocky Balboa ended it. It's an improvement over Rocky 5. It fixed Rocky 5, and Sylvester Stallone wanted to do this movie back in 1999 but couldn't got green light until 6 years later. That time he was busy with doing other movies, other movie projects, and because of schedule he couldn't do another Rocky on Rambo. But back in 2005, Sylvester Stallone, he had a free time, so he decided to focus more on Rocky and Rambo. Sylvester Stallone was very unhappy how Rocky 5 ended it, and he wanted to do another Rocky film. And Sylvester Stallone at first wanted to do was Rambo. He wanted to do the fourth installment in Rambo, but MGM already announced that Rocky Balboa is gonna hit in theater soon, so he was not unavailable to do Rambo at that time, at the time. So he had to do and wrote a screenplay, new story, and directed the sixth Rocky. Because 2 years later we got Rambo, the fourth installment, and I reviewed Rambo. But I didn't review Rocky Balboa, so this is gonna be my last retrospective on Sylvester Stallone and any of his movies. If you go through my list, I did a retrospective on Rocky 1, 3, and 4, and then I wrote on Rocky 2 retrospective review. Even though I did not mention it in Rocky 2, it's retrospective, but to me it is because I said retrospective way. Because the ranking by Rocky films actually kinda now changed since I revisit them and rewatch them again. Because my favorite Rocky is still Rocky 4, then Rocky 1, and then I actually put number 3 as Rocky 2 because I love Apollo Creed. I love the fight scenes, the training sequences, so I think that is a great sequel. So yeah, I would say Rocky 2 is my retrospective review, even though I didn't mention it in the opening of my video. And then I would say Rocky Balboa. I love Rocky 3, but I love Rocky Balboa more. I love this movie to death. Love Rocky Balboa to death. This is how you end a series, It ain't over till it's over. What's that, from the 80s? More from the 70s. I love this movie to death. This is the back. Written, directed once again by Sylvester Stallone. And Sylvester Stallone wanted to cast his son once again as Robert Balboa or Rocky Jr., but Stallone decided to cast someone else. So Milo Ventimiglia, that's him, Milo Ventimiglia got cast because Sylvester Stallone and Milo Ventimiglia has weird similarity between their mouths, so he was hired. He got the role, he was in Heroes. I watched all 4 seasons. Sadly, the season 4 kind of really lacked that much, but I enjoyed the first 3 seasons. But yeah, and Milo Ventimiglia got the cast, the time I think he was also filming Heroes, if I remember, or I think he did after after Rocky Balboa was completed. But Sylvester Stallone decided against it to cast his son Sage Stallone in the film. Thank God, I hated it. Him in Rocky 5. I'm glad that Milo Ventimiglia got the job as Robert Rocky Balboa Jr. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed his character, his presence. For Talia Shire not returning, that her character was killed off, I actually heard a few rumors, I heard a rumor that she demanded more money but Stallone did not cast her, that he was against it. But I think it was just a rumor. The other one was that she did not want to return. In the third one, the third rumor that I actually heard, and I actually read it, was on trivia, that she respected Sylvester Stallone's wish that she was writing off the story and she was killed off. That she gave her blessing to Stallone and she respected his wish, because they think about it that it was better if they just don't. If Adrian Balboa is writing out the script, so I enjoyed it. I'm glad that Adrian was not in this movie because I hated her in the Rocky 5. I hated her in Rocky 4. She was really annoying. She really started getting me on my nerves, and I'm glad she was gone. I'm glad she's dead. I hope she never comes back because I hated her so much. And maybe because I think that Stallone felt that a lot of fans were unhappy of Talia Shire's performance in Rocky 5. Now, I think that Sylvester Stallone, I think that Tommy Morrison, rest in peace, also rest in peace, H. Stallone. Tommy Morrison wanted to return as Tommy Gunn in this film, and he tried to contact Sylvester Stallone, but could not reach him, so he did not hear nothing from him. But Rocky Balboa is actually going back to the roots, not Rocky 5, that's Rocky Balboa. He goes back to the roots. We see, so now it takes events from the first Rocky, because it's 40-year anniversary. Rocky came out in 1976, this movie came out 2006. So it was actually 40-year anniversary since the first Rocky came out. And this is actually, this doesn't continue the Rocky 5 story, it's actually, there's not even intro in which Rocky fight on a street, like in Rocky 2, 3, and 4, we do have the final fight from previous movie. This movie completely ignores the events of Rocky 5. Because Stallone was unhappy, so that's one of the reasons he was not interested returning Tommy Gunn, because Rocky 5 bombed, it was terrible. And this movie cost $26 million, the budget for this movie cost $26 million, but Rocky 4 cost $30 million, Rocky 5 cost $42 million budget. Now, this was... the Rocky 4 and 5, I'll say, were the most expensive movies that time. Just like Rambo 3. Rambo 3 was the most expensive Rambo so far, that they made. And Rambo 3 got crap, but I'll take Rambo 3 anytime over Rocky 5, in my opinion. So yeah, but this movie made, in the US made $70 million, but worldwide made $155 million. It still did not surpass Rocky 4's budget. I mean, Rocky's 4 grossing money, because Rocky 4 made the most money in the US, $170 million, and in worldwide $300 million. With Rambo First Part 2, it broke the record. It made the most money, so it still not beat Rocky 4. And yeah, in my opinion, Rocky Balboa ended the series. It's over. It's finished. It's done. There was no need for spin-offs, Creed. And I don't get it why Sylvester Stallone did not got this movie. This movie got jack shit. It got nothing. It did not got an Academy Awards. Stallone did not got an Academy Awards. He didn't got an Oscar for his awesome speech, for his motivation speech. This movie got jack shit, which I don't get it. But for Creed, he had nothing to do. He didn't write the screenplay. He didn't direct it. Because he had a brain cancer, so make him now a brain cancer, killing Paulie off. So he got an Oscar, which I think was a selfish move. I think it was a dickless move. I think he did not deserve an Oscar. He deserved an Oscar for Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa was a fantastic movie. It's a fantastic sequel. And yeah, that's my retrospective review and respective way to say how much I respect this movie and how much I love this movie to death. I love this movie. This movie is a fantastic sequel, man. This movie fixed Rocky 5. And it ended the series, and it's over. He went to the distance, and it's over. You know, to me, it's over. It's end. Sylvester Stallone announced this is the final Rocky film. He said it's a final film. He said that he's not gonna do any Rocky films. So why they had to put him in Creed? You know. Oh, so he got an Oscar, which he didn't deserve it, in my opinion. This movie is a fantastic sequel of all time. Fantastic sequel. You know, Rocky Balboa is a classic, in my opinion. It's a classic. But I don't care, it's for 2006, it's a fucking classic, you know. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. What happened with that speech? It's a great motivation speech. Rocky gives his great motivation speech to his son Robert. So what happened with that? Why this movie, you know, this movie did not got an Academy Award for such a great motivation speech? Stallone could have got easily an Oscar for great screenplay because he wrote and directed this movie. You know, and this is the final Rocky Sylvester Stallone directed. He directed Rocky 2, 3, 4, and this movie. He did not direct the first one and the fifth one. I don't know why. I think they wanted John G. Avildsen for the fifth one, which is bad choice. But shit happens, you know. But Sylvester Stallone, he was unhappy and he wanted to fix it. And this movie is inspired by George Foreman returning to his roots. After retirement, he went with another champion in 1994. So George Foreman's returning to the ring inspired Stallone to make this movie. And I still remember in high school, I thought Rocky 5 ended it, and when I read it, that Sylvester Stallone is planning the 6th Rocky movie, which at that time I did not believe it. I thought, no way. I mean, how he's gonna do the 6th Rocky? Isn't he kind of old? You know, just like Robert says, aren't you kind of old? He was like, he was kind of old. But Sylvester Stallone is never way too old for action. He's a fantastic actor, fantastic, great action hero, great action star, my favorite action star. You know, why I think I have posters of Rambo. I know I don't have them on the wall because I don't have money for the frame so far, but I have the frame of Demolition Man. I mean, he's my favorite action star. I love Rambo films, I love Rocky films, I love Demolition Man, Cliffhanger, Cobra, Tango and Cash, Over the Top, Lock Up. A lot of those movies I love and enjoy from Sylvester Stallone, you know. But yeah, I was kind of skeptical when I read an article that he's planning to do the screenplay and to do the 6th Rocky movie, which is gonna be inspired by George Foreman. I was kind of skeptical, and I still know why it's not titled Rocky 6, but I guess Sylvester Stallone wanted to title Rocky Balboa, and just like he did for Rambo, he just titled Rambo, not Rambo 4, just Rambo. And but yeah, the Sylvester Stallone titled Rocky Balboa. I think there was subtitle for this movie. I think it was Rocky 6, and I don't remember the exactly subtitle, but it's about the subtitle. But yeah, the movie, to me, it worked. It's realistic. It's fast-paced. It's only 1 hour, 42 minutes long. It's PG. It's not PG-13. Rocky 5 was PG-13. Creed 1 was PG-13. I think the second movie was also PG-13. This was the final movie that was rated PG. Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, and Rocky Balboa are all rated PG. Except the 5th one and Creed movies, I enjoy all 5 Rocky movies, you know. There's like only one bad Rocky movie, but so what? Yeah, Rocky, you know, Rocky Balboa is actually a fantastic movie. Yeah, I already said that, I know. It was actually the final movie that was rated PG. And like I said, Sylvester Stallone returned with the script and he directed. There are actually more facts about the film. So now this little girl Marie, when you saw her in the first movie, when Rocky walks her, you know, and he says, "Does your brother know what you're doing?" And then he tells her how she's gonna become a whore and how her tits were yellow because she's smoking, you know. And that little girl says, "Hey Rocky, yeah, screw you, creepo." She does like that, you know. And yeah, so the actress Jodie Letizia, who played young Marie, and she filmed a scene on Rocky 5 in which Rocky will find him on the street, but that scene was deleted. It's actually in work print version. Jodie Letizia was preparing to return as her character, young Marie, but she was not cast in the film. Sylvester Stallone and the producers actually went and cast Geraldine Hughes. That's the actress, you know. She's an Irish actress. She was cast as young Marie. And then Jodie Letizia found out, she was so disappointed that she went and she filed a lawsuit against Stallone. Yeah, the lawsuit was later settled. You know, I think that Stallone had to pay her because she claimed that he promised her that she will return, and she dropped everything for this role, and then the other actress she was cast in, which I got it. Also now the character and the boxer Antonio Tarver, that's him, Antonio Tarver, who plays Mason the Lion Dixon. For the boxing match between him and Sylvester Stallone, Antonio Tarver demanded more money, and he said, "I'm not gonna do it until I got paid, you know, until I got more paid." So Sylvester Stallone get some of his salary, almost half of his salary. His salary he gave to Antonio Tarver to pay him, so they did that sparring match, you know, that sparring box match together. And when you see the final fight, the final ring bell, you know, all the blows, the hits, that was done for real. They really touched each other. Antonio Tarver knocked down Sylvester Stallone a few times, you know, which he felt unconscious, and that was done for real. And also when Sylvester Stallone, the crowd was also done for real. When Sylvester Stallone went in the crowd, he thought, you know, because the time was a real fight, and he thought that well, people will see him in Rocky disguise, you know, Writen Rocky Balboa. He was afraid, and he was skeptical that people were booing at him. But actually, it wasn't a script. But the crowd loved him, and they cheered Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. And Stallone was surprised. You know, they chanted Rocky. It wasn't in the script. So that was excellent. It was realistic. The 10-round exhibition match with 12 rounds was excellent. Was fantastic. Rocky Balboa is a fantastic sequel, in my opinion. It's fantastic. Rocky goes once again back to the distance. Actually, was 10-round exhibition match, but fantastic. This movie, man, is a fantastic. I love this movie to death. I love the sequel. I love Rocky Balboa to death, man. This movie is a fantastic. I forgot to show you the Blu-ray. Here you go. That's the Blu-ray disc. Rocky Balboa. Fantastic movie. Bill Conti returns with the screenplay, but actually with the music score. But I only read that Bill Conti only wrote one draft of the music for Marie, and that was it. But I don't think so. That's true, because when you see the animation fight, you know, and when Mason the Lion Dixon's watching it, it's kind of realistic. It kind of looks like he did put a different music score in it, because I don't remember of all except Rocky 4, all the Bill Conti that he wrote the music in it. It wasn't that music, you know. maybe was some other composer, but Bill Conti did return with the music score. I don't think he only wrote it for Marie. I think he did more than people are saying. Also, Carl Weathers wanted to return in Rocky Balboa, but Sylvester Stallone could not do it because his character was killed off. He was killed off in 1985, you know, so that's impossible. So now Carl Weathers took a grudge against Stallone, and he forbid him to use any archive footage of him in this movie, so Stallone didn't do it. Also, Pedro Lovell, who was Spider Rico, club fighter in the open scene in the first Rocky, returns, you know, and we see him old man is the same actor from the first Rocky, you know, and I love when he's actually helping Rocky, and he's still back to the roots, and he's like in a restaurant, he's helping him, he's like cook, and he's like a priest, you know, for Rocky, and I just love this movie, man. It's like 1 hour 37 minutes long without end of credits. And also I love Rocky's dog, you know, it's not titled here, but I love his dog, Punchy. And cool facts that you probably didn't know, I'm sure you didn't know. But remember in Rocky 3 when Rocky was preparing for the match between him and Thunderlips, played by Hulk Hogan. And when Thunderlips shouted that he's gonna break him in half, Rocky says, boy, everyone wants to beat me now, I feel like a Punchy. So that name from Steps to the dog came Punchy, that came from Rocky 3. Punchy came from Rocky 3. And I love his dog. I love that we, for the first time, you know, beside Rocky 1, we see Sylvester Stallone running with his dog, and I love dog, you know. Actually, I have my own dog. Rick! Come here. Rick! See, I have my own dog. Come on, Rick. Show to the crowd. See? Say hi, Rick. Hi. You see, I have my own dog. It's not Punchy, it's Rick. Yeah. My dog. Love my dog. But yeah, I love his dog Punchy. You know. Sylvester Stallone returned. Burt Young did return as Paulie, and I still can't get it. Why the fuck he get like a stinker award? I mean, what the fuck? I think that Burt Young was fantastic as Paul in this movie. And he still works in that meat shop. He still works and he gets fired. And I really do love that Bill Conti returns to the music score. I also love the soundtrack, you know, for Mason the Lion Dixon. It's a fight, 3-6 Mafia. I love that song, you know. It's a fight. Hit her with the left. Hit her with the right, it's a fight. I love that soundtrack. I love that soundtrack to death. I love that soundtrack, you know. It's a fight, 3-6 Mafia. I love that soundtrack. I'm gonna put it, the line in it, you know, the link in the video. Cause I love that song to death. Hit her with the left, hit her with the right, it's a fight. I love that song, the soundtrack, love the man. The cast, fantastic. Everyone, the cast was fantastic, realistic film. I love this movie to death, you know. But if I don't forget, I'll talk about the cast later. But no, I won't forget it. So let's go to the story. I'm talking about like 23 minutes, almost 24 minutes about the film and the facts. But let's talk about the story. You know, Rocky Balboa is now an old man. His wife passed away back in 2002. She had a cancer. She passed away. Rocky still has a good relationship with with his brother-in-law Paulie. He visited he's always, I love that cemetery scenes. You know, he visits the grave of Adrian Balboa. I actually read that the real Adrian Balboa has a tombstone herself. The real Adrian Balboa, not the character. But yeah, I love when he visited the cemetery. He lives in the West Philly. He's still Southpaw. He's still called the Italian Stallion. He owns now his own restaurant. There's the name Adrian's, that's his own restaurant. He's a manager of the restaurant. He has his own staff. He's not a cook. He has his own staff, and he amuses the fans and his customers with his story with him and about Apollo, the first fight, and Mick. He goes and he amuses his guests, which I love that. I love how Rocky goes and how he lives. How we see his life. His life. He lives alone. He's a good, hard-working man. And meantime, Mason the Lion Dixon, played by awesome Antonio Tarver, he's a bad news. Everyone disrespect him and hate him because he's a bad news. So far, 33 knockouts, 33 wins, no losses. He's a bad guy, And I love that they actually put Mike Tyson in this movie. Yeah, the greatest Mike Tyson was in this movie, And Mike Tyson improvised his lines for the film. It wasn't in a script. But Mike Tyson was in this movie. He was as in The Hangover. Mike Tyson was fantastic in this movie. He had a cameo scene. And he's a bad news, Everyone disrespect him, and even his opponents are fearing him. When they did that animated, sports results, because they did between Muhammad Ali and Rocky Marciano. Yes, Rocky Marciano is in this movie. They did similary animated cartoon, the fight between Mason the Lion Dixon and Rocky Balboa. And Rocky cracks down in the animated cartoon Mason the Lion Dixon. And when Paulie sees that, he goes to Rocky and shows him that, And he shows him, and when he sees that cartoon, Rocky decides it's time that he has like a beast inside, and he decides to go back out of retirement and go back in an exhibition bout, an exhibition match. And just like Apollo, he steps out of retirement, and without disagreeing with, no one supports his son. Doesn't like him. He visits his son. His son is ashamed of him. His son is ashamed of him. His son, thinks are kind of old, and doesn't support him. Paulie laughs at him because he doesn't take him serious. But Rocky says it's still a beast inside me. It's like a beast inside me. So yeah, I love that. So Rocky goes to get the he goes for and asks for the boxing license. And he's been rejected, and he wants to go back, but he goes like a badass. He is back and asks him why I'm not allowed to do what I want to do. And the staff go like, what do you mean? Explain. And he goes to explain. I want something to do that's happy. I wanted to do this, and why I'm not allowed to fit. And and actually, what Rocky did got what he wanted. Rocky did got what he wanted, he got the license, and the managers from Mason the Lion Dixon, they decide to cast to ask Rocky if he would go in the exhibition match, because they need a great publicity, because people hate them. People hate Mason the Lion Dixon. And Mason the Lion Dixon says, so you want me to fight a guy competing with the both tie hands, but they convinced the management convinced him that he agrees for 10-round exhibition match, and they go to Rocky. Rocky says, "Okay, I'll do it." He said he goes, and I forgot to mention Rocky also meets Jean Marie. He goes in the bar, and he used to come here, to memory, and he meets Young Marie, played by awesome Geraldine Hughes. And there's this girl, Angie. I wrote her character down. The actress Angelina Martinez, she plays Angie. That scene was realistic. It wasn't on Rocky, but it was realistic. Angie shows up and says, "Hey, it's you, and why don't you buy me and my friends drinks?" And And Rocky says, what's your name? She says, Angie. Angie, don't make a fool for yourself. A fool? Who you are? Who you are? You're the fool, not me. You know nothing about me. You know, and that was realistic. That really did happen to Sylvester Stallone when he was filming Rambo 1, First Blood, you know, in Canada, that time British Columbia, when he was in the bar, this girl shows up and she was pretending that she was a fan of his movies. Of course she wasn't. I mean, that time beside that was actually Rocky 3 almost came out, you know. Beside the first 3 Rocky movies, Sylvester Stallone wasn't that much famous, but she tried to manipulate Sylvester Stallone to buy her and her friends a drink, but Stallone refused it, and that was the same in this movie. And Rocky meets and became friends with Marie. He met Steps, her son, her husband, her boyfriend left her with a son. He was Jamaican and played by James Francis Kelly. He plays Steps. Now Steps isn't in this cover, but he plays Steps. But Rocky Balboa, the 6th movie, like I said, fantastic movie. So Rocky decides that he goes that he will go in 10-round exhibition match with the famous heavyweight champion of the world, Mason the Lion Dixon. Mason demands that they bring him back his own trainer, and that's Martin, because they're friends, you know, his own trainer. Martin, played by Henry G. Sanders, and of course Duke Everest, played by Tony Burton, rest in peace, returns. You know, he returns, and on the press conference, they actually go in the fight. You know, in the press conference, when they think that it's gonna be circus, of course now Mason gets pissed and says, "Yeah, when he gets pissed, this guy's gonna get knocked dead." You know, and so now I love the training montage, and Rocky starts, you know, when Duke Everest says, so speeches out of it, you know, so let's get some hurting pops. And I love the training sequence when Rocky trains, you know, Rocky goes and he trains. I love the training sequence. And now for the fight, so now Rocky's ready, you know, he's ready for the fight in the Las Vegas for 10-round exhibition match. And of course, I love when Mason the Lion Dixon goes, look, let's just give a good show. But if you're gonna do whatever to piss me off to him, you're gonna get hurt yourself. You know, Rocky says, okay, champ, and he says, you know, and I love when Mason the Lion Dixon says, you know, it's already over. It ain't over till it's over. What's that? From the 70s? What's that? From the 80s? More 70s, you know. it ain't over till it's over. It doesn't over till it's over, you know. What's that? From the 80s, more 70s, you know. I just love that, you know. And I saw Paulie goes and supports Rocky, and Rocky Balboa quits his job. Actually, Robert Balboa quits his job and goes and supports Rocky, you know. And I love the training sequence, training montage, fantastic. So Rocky now, he goes in the ring and he goes 10 matches, exhibition match. He goes and kicks, you know. He goes to the distance. And he doesn't get knocked down, you know, just like in the first Rocky, he goes to the distance. But by counts, Rocky loses. He loses the champ. Mason the Lion Dixon still the champ. They shake hands and Rocky goes, you know, and he goes to Adrienne, visits the grave, her tombstone, and says, "We did it," you know. And the movie ends the first time with his music, and we see like people running the steps on it. In the statue, jumping around. I love that, you know. There's also a scene I forgot to mention when Paulie says, "So you're upset because they actually demolished your statue." I was laughing at him, at both of them. But Sylvester Stallone did a great job, you know. So now, let's go to the cast. Sylvester Stallone gives a great performance. One of his greatest performances he gives once again. Great direction, great screenplay Stallone does. Love the music score by Bill Conti. Love the music score. Love that it's all realistic. I Antonio Tarver was fantastic as the opponent of Rocky. Mason the Lion Dixon, fantastic. Sylvester Stallone, great performance. Carolina Hughes was great as young Marie. She was awesome. And of course, Milo Ventimiglia was great as Robert Balboa. He was great. He did return in Creed 2, only one cameo scene, and fuck that movie. And Paulie, played by awesome and great Burt Young, was great. I still don't know why he was killed off in Creed. Why he was killed off? That sucked, you know. And I think that Burt Young was upset that his character was killed off. But Burt Young still did a great job. James Francis Kelly as Steves did awesome job playing the character and son of young Marie. The dog, I don't know which, the dog who plays Panchi was fantastic dog. I love his dog. Pedro Lovella, Spider Rico was awesome, working as a cook and as a priest. Angelina Martinez as Angie, when she watched the final fight, she gave her respect to Rocky. She gave to her man, shut up, you know, she gives her respect to Rocky. I love that. I think Luis Guian-Sante, he played Bartak when he was continue insulting Anne-Marie. Rocky goes, pushes him, you know. I'll tell you what, you know, how he said, he grabs and says, how he says sorry, he says, get a job, you bum. I love that, you know. Henry G. Sanders Martin did a great job. Michael Buffer, the ring announcer, played himself, you know, in Las Vegas, so it's realistic. And there's also Amy Seaton but that's promoter's wife. And the cast work well. And now my retrospective review, my history was, this movie came out, I think it came out 2007 when I was actually in I was in senior high school. I was finishing I was actually working on my high school degree. In secondary school, I was working for high school degree, and that was the senior year. And I still remember my classmate who keeps saying it ain't over till it's over, you know. And I actually watched Rocky Balboa. I downloaded it, I put it on CD, and I enjoyed it, you know, at the time. But Rocky Balboa came out in my high school years. So I'm grateful for Stallone. So that's my respective way to say that I'm grateful for Stallone making the 6th movie, fixing Rocky 5, and ignores Rocky 5 and gives a great performance, you know. It ain't over till it's over. What's that? From the 80s, more the 70s, you know. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean, nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are. It will keep you. How tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. You know, it's about, but it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. You know, and that's how winning is done. And I just love that how he gives a great motivation speech to his son. You know, because Robert says, you know, do you think how I'm gonna feel it? I'm asking you not to do it. You know, it's like you're hurting me. You know, this is the last thing I want to hurt you. You know, when you were born, you're like here. You know, you're like reach here. You know, let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. You know, but it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit. You can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Why Sylvester Stallone did not got an Academy Award? Why this movie did not got an Academy Award? Why this speech didn't got an Academy Award? But he gets for Creed. He had nothing to do. He didn't direct it. He didn't write the screenplay. He didn't do jack shit. You know, choreography by Sylvester Stallone, fantastic choreography. He didn't get, this movie got nothing. Which it ain't alright. It ain't alright, you know. You know, it ain't alright. Just like Rocky says in this movie, it ain't alright, little buddy. It ain't alright. That's robbed. They robbed him for Academy Award, in my opinion. You know. So now the training sequence, Rocky still jogs. You know. So my respective ways still realistic. He lifts now. Now Rocky lifts those weights. You know. He also, I think, the training sequence says, you know, he goes with the ball, he keeps making push-ups. Rocky still trains very hard, which I enjoy, that I love when he runs with his dog Punchy, and he puts dog Punchy in it, you know, and he goes on those steps, you know. I just love that scene, you know. Yeah, I love Rocky like that, you know, he's fantastic. But now, let's talk about the boxing fight, the match. Like I said, it was all realistic, you know. Rocky goes and fights based on the line Dixon, and we see all the blood, you know, there's like black flashbacks, but Rocky is still fantastic, you know. Rocky goes, fights him off, you know, he goes, fights him off, he goes and kicks the guy, and the second round, you know, it was actually Rocky's round. And also, I love the Las Vegas, you know, the boxing match. I love when Marie supports him. Young Marie goes and she supports him. Rocky, like I said, Sylvester Stallone goes when the time was a fight. You know, the crowd. Stallone was actually skeptical that they're gonna booing at him. But no, they actually chanted Rocky when they see him. You know, it wasn't the script. It was realistic. The fight scenes, the boxing match was realistic, you know. In the second round, when Mason goes and hurts his hand, you know, Rocky goes and he starts fighting him. And the fight scenes was realistic, you know. By the way, Stallone wears black gloves, you know. He wears black gloves, but this scene, realistic, you know. He goes and punches him back. Until the 10th round, you know, he goes with the black gloves. I love the costume. I love his shorts, you know. I love Mr. Lion Dixon shorts. And he says, "You run crazy, man," and they go to the distance. They actually hit really each other. Antonio Tarver really did blows to Rocky, you know. He really did give him a blows. And yeah, the fight is realistic. This movie feels realistic. It's fast-paced, you know. The fight, what I say is realistic. It's still overturned by Bill Conti, but it's fantastic, you know. And you see Rocky Bill blood, all blood, you know, and Mason has also blood, you know. And he gets, in the final round, he gets knocked down by Mason, you know. And Rocky goes with his fist on the floor, and he see doubles, you know, like left and right, he sees doubles, and then he says, then we see a flashbacks, you know, and he says, "What you say to the kid? It isn't how hard you can hit or how you get hit. Get up," and they're like all shouting, "Rocky, Rocky," and I love it when he says, "Get up, get up, get up," and Rocky goes, you know, back to this and starts fight. He goes, fights him. He goes, fights him. Rocky, fantastic, you know. And the round, 10 round ends, and Rocky, to me, is still a champion, you know. It's fantastic. There's director's cut. We'll love to see director's cut. In the director's cut, Rocky wins the fight. In this movie, he loses by counts, you know, because this is the theatrical cut. But in the extended cut, you know, we'll love to see the extended cut. Rocky wins the fight. He wins the fight, you know. He wins. It's right in trivia. But man, oh man, this movie is a fantastic movie. It's great with a sequel. It fixes Rocky 5, and to me, Rocky Balboa ended the series. It's over. Creed movies does not count. They're spin-offs. They're not Rocky movies. Rocky Balboa ended. Sylvester Stallone said to fans, yeah, he said, it's over. He said, this is the last Rocky I will do. He did it. This is the last Rocky. It's over. You know, why can't we just stop, you know, doing Creed movies? Rocky Balboa ended the franchise. It's over, you know. But the cast, the music score, the soundtrack, fantastic, you know. It's a fight by 3-6 Mafia. Love that soundtrack, you know. It's a fight. It's a fight. Here with the left, here with the right. It's a fight. It's a fight. Love that. Pedro Loel, fantastic Aspire Rico, Angelina Martinez as Angie, all realistic. I love how I love the film's locations. You know, my retrospective is also the film locations for Rocky Balboa. Why no one does film locations of Rocky Balboa? I mean, they felt realistic. Stallone, fantastic. Thank you so much, Stallone, for this movie. Thank you, Stallone. My respect to you, Stallone. You know, worldwide, $155 million. I would say this movie could have deserved more. Budget $26 million. Came out 13 December 2006 in the US. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about Rocky Balboa. Fantastic sequel. I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed it. I love this movie today. It's special to me. I love all Rocky films. Rocky Balboa is a fantastic movie. It's an awesome fun movie. It's a great movie. It continues the story from Rocky 1, so it's fantastic. There's also a flashback in which Paul and Rocky, they go to Adrian's anniversary. There was ice skate hall, but it got demolished, you know. And I love when Paulie says, you know, people on the ice are stupid, you know. But in the special, she always love you, Paulie. I don't want to think about it. You had a good time, you know. I love when Paulie says, let's get out of here, you know. But I enjoy Rocky. I mean, I love that Duke Everest returns. Tony Burton returns in this movie. Duke returns, you know. Rocky Balboa, fantastic movie, you know. I think it's one of the greatest sequels of all time. That's just me. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You be or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. You know, it worked. It's realistic. It's realistic. So that's my respect again. That's a retrospective review. You know, way. But it ain't about how hard you can hit, you know. How hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. So I think Sylvester Stallone was robbed from the Oscars. I think this movie was robbed from Academy Awards. This movie got jack shit it got. It deserves it. It deserves it. It deserves 4 Academy Awards in my opinion. You know. This movie, Rocky 2 and Rocky 4 deserves an Academy Awards. It got jack shit they got, you know. But Creed got Academy Awards. So Stallone also got for Creed. He has a brain cancer. Paul is dead. No Marine, no Robert returning. He gets a fucking Oscar for playing the character. But this movie is a fantastic movie, you know. Fuck Creed and fuck Stallone in Creed. Fuck Creed 2. I hate those 2 movies. Both of them I hated. You know. Rocky Balboa is fantastic. You know. Rocky Balboa goes the distance. It's all hair. Yeah, this movie has hair. It's a hair movie. It's a fantastic movie. You know. Where I'm just gonna read it on the background. When he goes, when he loses a highly publicized virtual boxing match to ex-champ Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone, Reagan heavyweight title holder Mason Dixon, should be titled Mason the Lion Dixon, Antonio Tarver, retaliates by challenging the Italian stallion to a national television 10-round exhibition bout to the surprise of his son, Milo Ventimiglia, TV's heroes, like I said, and friends. Rocky agrees to come out of retirement and face an opponent who's faster, stronger, and 30 years his junior. With the odds stacked family against him, Rocky takes on Dixon in what will become the greatest fight in boxing history, a hard-hitting, action-packed battle of the ages. I agree. This movie ended. This is the back, you can see it's PG. This is the final movie, Rocky being rated PG. It's ended. It's over. Rocky Balboa ended the series. There's no need for new Rocky movies. It's over. It's over. You know, Rocky Balboa ended the series. So that's over. You know. I don't know what else can I say, but fantastic sequel. One of the greatest sequels of all time. Love Rocky Balboa, one of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movies. Love Rocky Balboa to death. I love Rocky Balboa to death. I love this movie to death. Stallone kicks ass. It's a kick-ass movie. It's all heart. It's fast-paced. Like after 1 hour 17 minutes, it goes fast-paced. It doesn't take long like the first 2 Rocky movies, but it's a great sequel. Thank God he ignored the events of Rocky 5, because fuck Rocky 5. Yeah, there was also montage from Rocky 3 and 4. Sylvester Stallone was not allowed to put footage from Rocky 2 or Rocky 1, so he put Rocky 3 and 4, you know. You can see Clubber Lang and Ivan Drago in it. But I wish Apollo Creed would be in it. Fuck you, Carl Weathers. It was a dickless move, you know. It was a dickless move, Carl Weathers, but whatever, you know. But anyway, that's my movie review on Sylvester Stallone. Oh, one last thing. Sylvester Stallone was training and preparing for the character for 6 months. Yeah, he trained 6 months. Stallone trained with his body, you know, for 6 months. 6 months he prepared for the character. He was in great shape of his life. I love his body. He still proves he's the best. Stallone still proves that he is the best. He's the greatest actor of all time, and he's the best. I love his body. He trained for 6 months. 6 months, you know. That's I forgot to mention my review. But anyway, that's my movie review and retrospective review on Rocky Balboa 2006. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. So see you guys. Take care. I'm out. Peace.